What's up everyone, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Blue Ranger. Packaging looks just like all the other packages. You can see all this junk here. Let's get that out of the way and look at the actual figure. As you can see, he comes with the Yellow Ranger's dagger thingies and the Pink Ranger's bow, and those are both simply for the combination weapon. I don't remember what that's called offhand. Not going to do anything with those. They have tabs and pegs in them. I'm going to save those for when I do the review of, once I have all five of the Rangers, then we'll do that. We'll talk about those. For now, we're just going to look at the Blue Ranger and his accessories and his weapons. It is strange to me that he came with his own weapons, and not the weapons of his that go with these, but those came with the Black Ranger. I'm not really sure why they didn't just put all of the Blue Ranger with the Blue Ranger, all of the yellow with the yellow, and so on and so forth. That's a little curious, but it doesn't really matter either way. Maybe because this way, nope, doesn't even make sense. So forget it, I don't know. Let's get all the hands and weapons out and then we will talk about the figure. Alright, so Blue Ranger, basically the exact same as all the other Rangers. He does have that wrinkling at the top of his shirt there. I don't believe the red, green, or white had that. I'm going to have to go back and look. I forgot to before this video. I think that started with the Black Ranger, which if that's the case, that's going to irritate me because I would like them all to either be the same or them all to be different, but whatever. So he does have the iconic Blue Ranger helmet. To me, the horns don't stick out enough. I think they should have a little bit more of a an embossment. I don't think that's right. They should be embossed a little bit more. I think they should stick out just a bit, because to me it looks a little bit too round, but that being said, it still looks awesome. All of the paints are great. The gold's for the eyes, and then the silver for the horns and the lining on the mask. Super shiny, nice and metallic. The mask is nice and high gloss for the visor. Everything looks great. I love the way they're doing these helmets. Even if it may not be 100% perfect, still looks pretty darn good. He stands, which shouldn't be much of a surprise, just shy of 6 inches, so he's pretty much on par with all the other ones. Like I said, it's basically the exact same figure. In the haul video, I said his belt might be messed up a little bit. I think the paint looks close enough. It looks like it's kind of like cockeyed a little bit, it looks like those black parts are kind of rotated to the right a little, but not too big of a deal. So articulation-wise, the head is on a ball hinge on top of the neck, so you can really get any posing you want done. The neck is at least a single ball peg, maybe a double ball peg. Shoulders have a ball peg that goes into the torso, so that just moves around like that. This kind of cap here is simply to hide the articulation, so that's pretty cool. Then we have a ball hinge for the shoulder itself. Bicep swivel is built in there. Even though the shoulder does come up a little bit from the bicep, there's still a bicep swivel in there, so the shoulder just kind of caps over that. So it's pretty good. They did a decent job of hiding that. We have double jointed elbows. They aren't the most nice looking elbows. I think they're actually kind of ugly, but they're not horrible, so that's okay. And they're not really the most effective double jointed elbows. You can see this top joint kind of is hindered by the bicep, so it's kind of a weird design that they went with for these guys, but it's still, as you can see, more than effective. That's like a 15-degree angle, so that's fine. Wrists, ball hinges, so it swivels in the forearm and in the hand, and then we have the hinge standard peg for swapping the hands out. Torso articulation, probably a double ball peg. I want to say, it feels like a single ball peg in the upper torso. Leans back a little bit, doesn't lean forward much at all, doesn't swivel much at all, does rock from side to side a little bit. Swivel is pretty limited, so you're going to have to use the waist for the swivel, and the waist is a single ball peg, it feels like. It doesn't have too much of a lean either, so these guys are fairly limited in the articulation department for the torso, but it does lean a little bit side to side, front to back a little bit, and then we do have the swivel underneath the floating belt, so that's okay. This does swivel. It also pops off if you want to take it off. There's that. The hips are hinged ball pegs, so you can drop them down, and that gives you the better range of motion, so that's always appreciated. Then we have the ball peg socket itself that the leg can move around or pop off, which is not good, but I pulled on it really hard, so that's okay. It's not going to pop off on its own. So we can move around that ball peg, and the thigh can also swivel around that socket as well. So plenty of articulation there, that's okay. We have a double jointed knee, which is good, although I don't understand why the knee part is hinged so high up. If it was hinged lower down, we wouldn't have that really ugly knee. So I don't understand that, but we do have the range of motion, so that's okay. What I'm talking about is, you see how this hinges for the lower leg right at the bend? If the upper one did that, it would not look nearly as ugly. So I'm not sure why they did that, but oh well. Ankles are ball hinges. So we have the hinge, then it swivels at the top and at the bottom. You can get an ankle rocker out of it. Pretty much anything you want. It is fairly limited going forward though, so that's a bit disappointing. And then we have a toe hinge, which is actually done pretty well. So the articulation, as we've seen in the other Rangers, is pretty good. Not as good as it could be, but probably good enough. In terms of interchangeable hands, we have a fist for either side, and they do have the sculpted details on there. We have these hands here, whatever you want to call those. Hopefully the camera's not washing them out. I think I turned up the brightness on accident. Oops. Then we have two sets of gripping hands. We have hands with a more open grip, and then we have hands with a slightly smaller grip, and you can figure out which weapons work best with either one. We have the two side type weapons meant to be used individually in each hand. Then we have the staff where they are connected. They cannot come apart, so that's why we have them like this. You can't use these to make this and vice versa. It's one or the other, but that's okay. It's done really well. The paints are clean, the sculpt is clean, so that's cool. We have the dagger, does not fold or anything like that, so we don't have the blaster. Just the dagger, still really well done. And then we have the blaster connected to what I think is called the Thunder Slinger. I don't really remember. So we don't have the blaster by itself. That's a little odd for me. I'm not sure why they did that, but we do have this one. So he's got a decent array of accessories, and like I said, we do have these with him, but they don't really count yet, so no big deal there. Paints on the figure, all the blues match. The helmet's kind of glossy, so that's cool. All of the whites are fairly white. I don't see really too many problems there. The only issues I see are at the tops of the boots, which are sculpted, so that's nice, and the tops of the gloves. The white lines could be a little bit cleaner. Other than that, we're looking at a pretty decent figure. Nothing really surprising. It's pretty much what you would expect after seeing all the other Rangers. So if you're looking to complete the set, or if you like the Blue Ranger, don't hesitate, go ahead and pick this guy up. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.